Hello everyone and welcome back in a new video. My name is Wahid Anwar, and in this video we are going to take an overview of the baselines in project management and Primavera basics. Okay, so in any project we start with a plan, but as work progresses, things rarely go exactly as expected. Activities may take longer, costs may increase, or scope may change. So to manage these variations effectively, we need a fixed point of reference. So that's where a baseline comes in. Okay. So a baseline is the approved and frozen version of your project plan. It captures the agreed scope, schedule, cost, and resources, and it becomes the benchmark against which we measure actual progress. Of the project performance. Okay, so without a baseline, it's impossible to know whether your project is ahead, behind, or on track. So, in this video, we will first understand the concept of baseline in project management, their purpose, types, and importance. Then we will move into Primavera P6, where we will see that how baselines are created, managed, and used for variation analysis as well, and then for performance tracking and reporting. So, by the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of how to use baselines to improve control, ensure transparency, and keep your projects aligned with their goals. Okay, so first let's learn actually what is a baseline in project management. Okay, so in project management, a baseline is a simply the approved version of your project plan that has been formally agreed upon and then frozen for reference. Okay, so think of it as a snapshot of your project at the point of approval. Once the baseline is set, it becomes the yardstick against which all future project performances is measured. Okay, so here you can see we have here the frozen approved plan used as a reference. Then the capture scope, schedule, cost, resources. So scope, what is the project is supposed to deliver. Then schedule, the timeline for the project or for the activities and milestone should be completed. Then cost, that will be the approved budget allocated to the project. Then resources, 3M, the manpower, material, machinery, okay, for execution. So by locking these details into baseline, project managers can always compare what was planned with the and what is the actually happening. So the comparison provides the foundation for performance measurement and project control. So I hope this is clear. Okay. So here we used to measure plan versus actual performance. Okay. So why are baseline needed? So so why do we need baseline? So the first reason is performing, a track performance. So the first reason is performance tracking. Without a baseline, you cannot measure whether you are on track or falling behind. Okay. So second, you can see here the detect the variances, time, cost, and scope. So now baseline help us to detect the variation or differences. For example, if an activity was planned to finish in 10 days, but actually it took 15 days. So the variance is visible only because you had a baseline for comparison. Okay. So similarly, cost overruns and scope changes becomes clear when measured against the baseline. Okay. So third, we have provide, you can see here, provide the report for the stakeholder. So baselines provide the reports for stakeholders, clients, management, and team members. Want to see whether the project is aligned with the expectations. A baseline gives the credibility and transparency to the to the project reports. Okay, and guide decision making and corrective actions. That is the fourth. So you can see here. So baseline guide decision making, all the corrective actions. If you can see where you are and deviating from the plan, so you can take early action to get the project back on track. Okay. So the last you can see finally the baseline serve as the historical, the record. So for the future, the future lessons. So baseline serves as a historical record. They capture how the project was originally planned, which becomes valuable for future projects, lesson learned, and continue improvement. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Okay, so next we have types of baselines in project management. Okay, so here you can see we have first a scope baseline. Actually, scope baseline defines what the project will deliver. It includes the approved deliverables and the work breakdown structure. Okay, and the scope baseline ensures everyone agrees on what is included and what is not. So second, we have schedule baseline. So this is approved project timeline. It contains the planned start and finish dates for activities and milestones. And any deviation from this baseline will show whether you are ahead of schedule or behind the schedule. Okay. So next we have the cost baseline. So cost baseline represents the approved budget, so it's used to track whether the project is within financial limits or experiencing cost overruns. Okay, so the last we have performance measurement baseline. So here you can see performance measurement baseline, integrated scope, schedule, and cost baseline. Okay, so this is the integrated baseline that combines scope, schedule, and cost into a one unified framework. So the performance measurement baseline is essential for advanced project control methods like and value management, where performance is measured against all three dimensions simultaneously. Okay, so together these baselines create the foundation for effective project control, ensuring that project managers can plan realistically, track performance accurately, and make informed decisions. So next we have transition to Primavera P6. So now that we understand the concept of baseline in product management, so now let's move into the practical side with Primavera P6. Actually, in this video, maybe I will try to assign a baseline in Primavera P6 or in the next video. Okay, so uh, Primavera P6 is one of the most powerful and widely used project scheduling tools in industries such as the construction, oil and gas, infrastructure, and IT. So one of its core strengths is the ability to create and manage multiple baselines for the same project. Okay, so in P6, baselines serve as a foundation for variance analysis on value management and performance reporting. Okay, so in other words, the baseline is the reference point that allows you to compare what you plan against what is actually happening in a real time. Okay, so next we have here the what is a baseline in Primavera P6. Okay, so what exactly is the baseline in Primavera P6? In simple terms, a baseline in P6 is a fixed reference copy of your project data that is stored at a specific point in the time for future comparison. Okay, so once you set a baseline, Primavera P6 locks that snapshot of your project and preserve it, even if the current schedule changes later. Okay, so here you can see fixed reference of the project data used for the future comparison include activity, dates, duration, and logic. Okay, so you can see here it includes activities, dates, duration, and logic. So the full structure of your project schedule. Okay, then resource assignments and cost. So you can track plan versus actual resources usage, uh, and budgets. Okay, so milestones and critical path. So ensuring you can evaluate whether your project's key deadlines and overall timeline are still achievable. Okay, so by acting as a benchmark, the baseline uh, enables you to clearly see how your current schedule compares with your original planned schedule. Okay, so and the last you can see here, act as a benchmark to compare the current schedule against the planned schedule. So I hope this is very clear. Actually, I have added all this information for your general knowledge. Okay, because these things are very important for your interviews as well. Okay, so actually, baseline assignment in Primavera P6 will not take too much time, but the basic concept is very important. Okay, so that's why I have added all the information. So next we have the importance of the baseline in Primavera P6. Okay, so why are the baselines so important in Primavera P6? So let's break it down. Oh, you can see here first we have the performance tracking. Okay, so baseline lets you measure actual progress against the planned progress at any stage of the project. Okay, second, variance analysis. So you can see here the spot delays or cost overrun. So you can identify where delays, cost overruns, or a scope deviation are happening by comparing baseline data with the current data. Okay, so after that we have the S curve, then EVM. Baselines are essential for the calculation. So without a baseline, you cannot generate accurate S curves or EVM calculations such as plan value, earned value, and schedule or cost performance index. Okay, so next we have stakeholder communication, so clear product updates. Okay, so baseline provides clear and transparent project updates, helping to the stakeholders to understand whether the project is aligned with the expectation or not. Okay, so last we have the historical record, so lessons learned for future projects. Okay, so finally baseline serve as a permanent record of how the project was originally planned, which becomes very valuable for future projects and lessons learned. Okay, so in short, baselines in P6 are not just a technical feature; they are the backbone of effective project monitoring and control. Okay, so this is clear. So after that, we have components of a baseline in P6. Okay, so now let's begin with the components of baseline. You can see here uh, activity info, resources, WBS structure, critical path, key milestones. Okay, so when you create a baseline, Primavera P6 captures the most critical project data so that it can be compared later. It includes, first activities information. So, such as start and finish dates, logic relationships, durations, and any constraints applied. Okay, so then uh, resources and budgets, plan cost. So, including manpower, equipment, and budgeted expenses. Okay, so next we have the work breakdown structure. The performance can be tracked not just at the activity level but also at the higher level, I mean to say WPS level. Okay, so next we have the critical path. So the sequence of activities that directly affect the project completion date. Tracking variances here is the vital to project success. Okay, so after that, we have the key milestones. So key milestones, which serve as the checkpoints to verify whether major project goals are being achieved on time or not. Okay, so by storing all of this information, the baseline in Primavera P6 becomes a reliable snapshot of the entire project plan. Okay, so I hope components of the baseline in P6 are clear. So next we have the types of baseline in P6. Okay. So first we have here. Okay, actually, in a P6, the tool P6 allow us to manage more than one baseline depending on the needs of your project. So main types includes here. You can see the first one is the primary baseline. That is the main approved plan. So this is the official approved project plan against which performance is measured. Okay. So second we have the secondary baseline. So often used for interim plans or you can monitor significant project changes. Okay, so next we have the treasury baseline. So this is actually typically used for testing alternative scenario or for the reference purposes. Okay, so after that we have initial baseline. So here you can see the first approved before execution. Okay, so the very first approved plan before execution begins. So last we have the current baseline, so you can see updated after approved changes. So the latest approved plan updated after the formal changes have been incorporated. Okay, so uh, in P6, project managers to compare different versions of the plan and to maintain a history of the changes over the life of the project. So this is a very, you can say, flexible tool. Okay, so after that we have the using baselines in P6. So you can see here. Actually, you can say that how baselines are actually used in P6. So first you can see we have here display baseline bars in Gantt chart. Okay. So you can display the baseline bars directly in the Gantt chart to visually compare plan versus actual dates. So second, add variances column. So you can add variances columns. For example, baseline start versus actual start, or baseline cost versus actual cost to clear severe deviation exists. Okay, so after that we have here the generate baseline comparison report. Okay, so Primavera P6 allows you to generate baseline comparison reports, so which can be shared with stakeholders for status updates. Okay, so last we have here the use baseline for EVM, PV, EV, AC, SPI, CPI. Okay, so most importantly, you can say baselines are essential for earned value management as they provide the planned value. The PV is the planned value, which is the foundation for measuring earned value, EV. So, and then we have the AC means the actual cost, and you can say like the SPI is the scheduled performance index, and CPI is the cost performance index. Okay, so in short, baselines in P6 are not just a reference; they are actively used for controlling, analyzing, and reporting project performance. Okay, actually, these things are very important for your interview and for your project monitoring and controlling. Okay. So after that, we have here the key matrix. Okay, so here you can see under the key matrix we have start variance, finish variance, cost variance, SPI, CPI. Okay, so start variance actually is the difference between the actual start date and baseline start date. Okay. Finish variance is the difference between the actual finish date and the baseline finish date. And cost variance is the difference between the actual cost and then the the baseline budget. Okay, so in earned value management, baselines are also used for calculating SPI scheduling or schedule performance index. So earned value divided by the planned value. Okay, so actually this is the formula to calculate the SPI. Second, we have the CPI, cost performance index, equal to earned value divided by actual cost. Okay, so these metrics are critical because they provide an objective way to evaluate whether the project is ahead, behind, or on budget. Okay, so I hope these are clear. So next we have the best practices. Okay, so here we have the some best practices. Okay, when working with the baseline in Primavera P6, the first create baseline early after approval. Okay, so first always create a baseline early. That is the ideally you can say right after the project plan has been approved. So this ensures you have a clean and accurate reference point. Second, avoid the frequent changes only after formal approval. Okay. So second, avoid frequent changes to the baseline. Any adjustment should only be made through formal approval. Otherwise, the value of the baseline is lost. Okay. So third, use the multiple baseline. Okay. Yes, you use multiple baseline for major changes. So, for example, when the project scope changes significantly, keep and early, earlier baseline allow you to compare different version of the plan. Okay, so fourth we have the communicate updates to stakeholders. Uh, so communicate updates clearly with the stakeholders. Everyone should know which baseline is being used for reporting and analysis. The fifth one is the regularly monitor variance reports to detect the issues early. Okay. So and finally, always check the critical path in the baseline. Uh, as this determines whether the overall project completion date is at risk. So, by following these best practices, you ensure that baselines remain a reliable and effective tool for the project control. Okay, so after that, we have here challenges. Of course, managing baseline is not without its challenges. Okay, so here you can see a frequent scope change to many baselines equal to confusion. So actually, one common issue is frequent scope change, which make it difficult to maintain a consistent reference point. So another challenge is having too many baseline, which can lead to confusion over which one should be used for analysis or reporting. And finally, in you can see inconsistent updates. Okay, reduce reliability. So it reduce the reliability of your baseline. I mean, so if your current the data is not properly aligned with the baseline, so performance reports may become misleading. Okay, so recognizing these challenges helps to the project manager take proactive measures to keep the baseline management disciplined and meaningful. Okay, so next we have real world use. So now let's look at some real world applications of baseline in Primavera P6. First, we have the tracking delays. So by comparing actual progress with the baseline, you can quickly identify which activities or milestones are behind schedule. Then we have the cost control. So baseline cost data helps you to see whether actual spending is aligned with the approved budget or not. Third, we have the transparent reporting. Okay, so baseline provides objective, data-driven reports that enhance credibility with the client and stakeholders. Okay. So last we have early risk detection. So when baseline variances start to appear, they often indicate risk that need attention before they grow into a bigger problems. Okay. So in practice, baseline um, are the daily tool for project managers to stay in control of time, cost, and scope. So I hope these things are clear. So finally, we have here conclusion. Okay, so now let's conclude. So baselines are the cornerstone of project control. Okay, so first baseline allow the baselines are the cornerstone of the project control, enable monitoring, analysis, and reporting. And it ensures projects stay on track and within budget. So they allow project managers to monitor progress, analyze variances, and report accurately to the stakeholders. So without baseline, it would be impossible to know if a project is are truly on track, or you can say heading toward delays and cost overruns. Okay, so by using baselines effectively in Primavera P6, you can ensure that your project remains aligned with their objectives. So stay with the budget and are completed successfully. Okay, so remember, a good baseline is not just a record of your plan. It's a powerful management tool that drives informed decision making throughout the uh, life of the project. Okay, so I hope everything is clear related to the baseline in project management and Primavera P6. Okay, so actually, these slides, you can see this video is really very important for if you are a uh, new user of Primavera P6 and you don't have any information about the baseline. So actually, I have just collect this data and make in a proper presentation regarding the interview queries and interview purpose as well. Okay, so the basic purpose of this video is to get the information and get more knowledge related to this related to the baseline. Okay, so I hope everything is clear.